Oh shit, here we go again.
Fulfill your destiny. TheorySabers.com.
Back with the Rolling Shit magazine. Sounds great. Can't wait to read this amazing, non-biased, well-written... anyways. Can the best of Star Wars survive the worst of its fans? Before Star Wars can have another successful show, some vocal parts of fandom have to reckon with what they really want out of the franchise. They sure do. Okay, so we're going to skip all this crap because it's just a bunch of SEO shit, as you can see. Bang, 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 bang. If you don't know what SEO is, Google it. Here we get to one good moneymaker topic. The worst part about the Acolyte being canceled isn't the cancellation itself, but knowing exactly which part of the Star Wars fan base Disney listened to in order to go ahead with this decision. Stop caving to pressure and stand your ground. If you've made something... I love that way. Be an activist. Stand your ground. Even though I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Listen, dude, let me tell you something that you might not know, clearly. Star Wars doesn't give a shit. Disney doesn't care about you or me. The only thing they care about is...
only money.
The only thing they actually care is that. And I'm really failing to understand, where is the level of accountability? I don't think anybody takes accountability anymore at all. And it's quite unfortunate. Because look, it's as simple as this. If there was a large amount of people that were consuming this form of media or consuming this product, the product would only go on to expand. The company would get bigger. They would release new products. They would have more employees. And they would just use that money, if they're smart, that they're making to then put it back into the company and continue to grow it and grow it and grow it. And that only happens if the product is good, if the product is well received, if the show is good, if the movie is good, if the toys are good. That's how progression happens with companies. But at the end of the day, if you keep releasing stuff and it's constantly a miss and it's costing the company money, all right, you're going to keep using those reserve funds that you have from previous sales, previous profits, but holy shit, you're going to start to run out and you're like, well, we got to pull this line here. We can't have that anymore. We can't have the Acolyte line. We can't do this either. We got to pull that. Oh shit, we're kind of out of money now. So they got to be extremely careful with what they do. And if something's not making the money, they pull it. Now, let's look at why didn't the Acolyte make the money? It's simply because people didn't watch it. Okay, let's dissect that. Why wouldn't someone watch something? We have two options, and in your case, we have three. We have it was shit.
It's not true. That's impossible.
It was good, which then opens up to they did watch it, so this nullifies. It's great. There's no issue there. That's canceled out. So it's either it's good or the third one, which is the fictitious conspiracy theory one made by all Acolyte fans who can't seem to get a grip on the fact that this show did not make it because it wasn't watched. They think not because it was shitty, but they think because of YouTubers like me and Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic and other many loud voices out there, big and small, told people not to watch this show. You do realize that the watch parties that I did and many others did, for people who actually disliked the show, only upped the viewership of the show. And even with that help, the show still didn't get greenlit for a second season. What does that tell you? If you guys who like the Acolyte are so big, so huge, you were the majority, then wouldn't your voices have been enough to greenlit a second season because it made so much money for Disney? At least it would have broke even. Disney would have continued to make the second season. The first one was $180 million. That's a lot of money. Imagine if you got $180 million. Your family would be set. Your parents, you take care of your parents. You take care of yourself. You take care of your kids for generations if you have kids. You can give it to your friends. You can give it to charities. You can invest it. You can build businesses. You can, that is the kind of money for regular people that just doesn't really end if you're smart. But this whole nonsense about, Disney caving to pressure, they didn't cave to anything, man. They caved to the pressure of money. That's the only thing they caved to. You have to really understand, get a grip of this. It's be accountable. Look, the show didn't do well. I don't discount the fact that there are Acolyte fans. Of course, there are fans for everything out there, good and bad. You got weird cults out there. You got fans behind those, right? You got cult followers. Take Apple, for example. They're worth trillions of dollars. Why is that? Because they make a product that helps people. They make a product that makes people's lives better or easier or provides entertainment or a service, right? Star Wars was so expensive for Disney to buy and worth so much money because it provided value to people. if something isn't providing value, people will not invest their time. Time is the most expensive commodity that we have and the most valuable commodity that we have because we can't get it back. If you go broke, you can eventually try to make that money back simply by pushing a broom or coming up with some big idea that'll make you money or whatever you do. But you can never get the time I took to make this video. I will never, ever get that back. In my timeline of my life, it's gone. That's gone. It just poof. So if people are sacrificing their time to watch something, they better be getting a return for their most valuable currency, which is time. And if they're not going to watch it. Then there are people who actually get entertainment from it, like I'm sure many people during my watch party, and many who actually enjoyed it, and many others who were like me who just wanted to see if the story actually would get better or what was going on or if what happens here. What's the deal? And in those cases, I mean, geez, even with that, it still wasn't enough to greenlit a second season. But this whole conspiracy theory needs to end. Disney is like bending the knee to one side of the fandom. They ain't bending the knee to shit other than what's green. All right. But well before the show premiered, vocal online fans mocked Stenberg's casting, calling the series evidence that Disney was capitulating to a woke crowd by having multiple people of color in the cast. They also criticized news that the show would include queer characters, including a coven of witches. We didn't know that until the actual episode of The Power of Two, The Power of Many. But this whole thing about the show, before the show premiered, vocal online fans called the series evidence that Disney was catering to a woke crowd because there were multiple peoples of color, I think is the furthest thing from the truth. I don't think anyone, at least not the majority. I mean, if Acolyte fans think that they're the majority, I mean, a rude awakening here in this case, you definitely cannot say that the majority of people who didn't like the show are racist because there were people of color. You got Billy D. Williams. And then in the prequel trilogy, I mean, you got lots of people of color in there, including the most powerful Jedi, Mace Windu. I mean, he's literally like Yoda answers to him sometimes to see what he has to say. I don't ignore the fact that there are racist people out there and homophobes out there, of course, but I really don't think that they're the majority of people. Just like I don't think fans of The Acolyte are the majority in the consensus of whether The Acolyte is good or bad. I think the majority are obviously the result of why a season 2 didn't happen, which is the fact that most people didn't like the show. This isn't a jab. This is like, leave it to the Americans, and I'm Canadian, to make this political. Like, oh my God, the Trumpers won. It's like, the fuck are you guys talking about? It's just a shitty show that Star Wars fans didn't like. Fucking weird conspiracy theorist people. Like, it's just not a show that was well received because the person writing it didn't know jack shit about Star Wars and tried to just make some bullshit. It's not that deep, man. It's just not a good show. I mean, this is funny. The Acolyte has been canceled after one season. Let us go. I don't know what the lines are for, though. What is that supposed to mean? Go. Disney has not released a statement on why The Acolyte was canceled, and representatives for Disney and Lucasfilm did not respond to the Rolling Stone's request for comment. Oh, so you can admit that. When Rolling Stone wrote that they reached out to me for comment, was total bullshit. And I went through my entire email list and I tried to search for Rolling Stone. There was nothing. Reception for the series was mixed, though, with people praising performances from... Yeah, it was mixed, clearly not equally. However, it's all too easy to imagine how a show with an already expensive budget, over $100 million... Yeah, why don't you say $180 million, close to $200 million, according to Deadline, might be easier to scrap entirely rather than contend with the potential of another lackluster and ill-received season. Ill-received? Why was it ill-received? I don't understand these people. Deliver you a shit sandwich... And when you say the sandwich tastes like shit, those are the headlines of these journalists. Journalism used to have meaning. It doesn't have any meaning anymore. Well, yeah, why? How about we ask, why does it taste like shit? Is the person eating it crazy? Are they a hater? Why don't you take a look at the actual sandwich and literally see that there's like flies around this shit sandwich? Like, I don't know, dude. These people are like living in their own made up fairy tale world of... The show didn't have enough viewers. It didn't get a second season. It had the lowest ratings on Nielsen for any Star Wars show. The numbers are out there. Like, what's wrong with these people? Why are they... I don't know. It literally had the lowest rating, the lowest viewership of any Star Wars finale. Let that sink in. Usually finales, you're like, oh shit, that's crazy. Like Mando season 2. Finale was insane. So many viewers. I had the most live viewers ever during the Mando season 2 finale. 35,000 plus people live in my live stream. That's for me, that's crazy, man. That's huge. It's a big number. Live? Forget views. Live. It's wild. And in that finale, it had the low, not even the lowest for the show, but lowest, the freaking lowest of any Star Wars show finale. That's horrible, man. That sucks. And why is that? Well, you got to ask yourself. Another aspect that can't be divorced from modern fandom is the amount of consistent racism and sexism. You guys are going to keep calling shit racist, and it's going to really lose its meaning, which is unfortunate because racism is a really horrible thing out there. And I just think that this is really starting to dilute the actual presence that the word racism has. It's going to get to the point where you call someone racist and they're just going to roll their eyes and be like, what, because I didn't like it? I'm racist now? Is the almost consistent racism and sexism that leads of color receive when they are cast in Star Wars related projects? Why doesn't Rosario Dawson get any racism? Why doesn't Samuel Jackson get any racism? Hey? Like, you just pick and choose who gets the racism? Stenberg said that after her casting, she was bombarded with racist harassment. It's been very painful to me. It's not something that I think you can emotionally prepare for. Of course, and that's so wrong. But then to also go out and make a freaking diss track against everyone who dislikes your show, not necessarily because of you, but because of the writing, is now going to put that hot spotlight on you and make sure people really don't like you now. If you thought you just didn't have fans because racists, they're going to hate you no matter what, sadly. But people who don't give a shit and are not racist, if you're going to go ahead and just call them racist when they literally have never, ever done anything like that to you, you now just created a whole shit ton of enemies, and it's not a good look. And it was documented, it was written, that one of the reasons that the Acolyte Season 2 was canceled, partially, is because of the negative attention that rap diss track brought to the show. We welcome criticism of the show when it comes to storytelling or performance, which many did, the majority of people did. But when it comes to death threats, horrific, violent, racist language, it's unacceptable to me. Yeah, that's unacceptable to anyone with a sane mind, and that's the majority of people. Majority of people aren't saying this show is horrible because there's a person of color. People are saying the show is horrible because the writer, who is a white woman, doesn't write Star Wars well. You see, this is exactly where this shit article is going. Kenobi star Moses Ingram has said also people threatened her life when she joined the Star Wars project. There's nothing anybody can do about this. There's nothing anybody can do to stop this hate. I question my purpose in even being here in front of you saying that this is happening. The same thing happened to Kelly Marie Tran when she was cast in The Last Jedi. If someone doesn't understand me or my experience, she said it shouldn't be. Listen, man, when that was happening to her, I made a video defending her and being like, this is disgusting. People should not be racist towards her. And even then, it's still a major minority, not majority at all. But there are always going to be, like, for example, I get death threats every day. I get this and that said to me every day. That's not the majority of people out there. That's just a minority. That's just some people who are unhinged and angry. Maybe they got a lot of stuff going on the inside. I don't know, man. That's not the majority of people. And majority of people really don't care what your color is. They just want to be told a good story for Star Wars. That's what it comes down to. But this constant focusing and literally magnifying glass being put on the fact that there are these minority of people that are making racist comments, and then, which is a very important thing, but then brushing that across an entire fandom of people who do not, it's literally like a Venn diagram, okay? Racists, Star Wars fans, what do these have in common? They don't like the Acolyte. They don't like the Kenobi show. Holy shit, those are the same people. Oh my God, they're all racist. No. What the fuck? You can't put us all in the same freaking group as racists, man. Like, what is this? What kind of logic is this? It can be picked apart so easily, but yet these people are so delusional, and it all comes from one thing: the inability to take accountability for the fact that this show and other shows like it were written poorly for Star Wars. That's all it is. It ain't rocket science, fam. It ain't freaking that deep. Anyways, I'm not going to go ahead and read more of this trash because, honestly, fuck the Rolling Stone. I think they're a shit company, and I think they should write shit articles, and they have dumbass journalists. But that's all I got to say about that. So I hope this goes viral so they can go suck on it. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day fighting the good fight by just letting people know if you like Star Wars or not, if it's a good story or not. It doesn't make you racist, unless you're a racist piece of shit. But then you're a piece of shit anyways. So keep being a Star Wars fan. Love you guys. Have a great day.